Okay, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. It is still Wednesday, May 26, 2021. Just lovely. And this is my post-market wrap-up. I have a lot to talk about, but I want to start off with this. The video that I did this morning, I explained how we are marching towards a meltdown in this market that is going to be truly epic, biblical. And this is really nothing new, I don't believe, at least to those of you that understand where we are right now. How many of you, with the show of hands, believe that the environment we are in is sustainable? Exactly. How many of you, with the show of hands, believe this will continue until it doesn't? Exactly. I've outlined this for you for years. I've kept you on the right side of this market for years, and I will continue to do so. So for those of you out here that are somewhat confused, this market is going higher. I did not say this market was crashing tomorrow, next week, or even next year. All we do understand is this environment of distortions, fakery, rigging cannot go on in perpetuity. And the smart money knows where the opportunities are. People, it should be as simple as, I don't know, the simplest thing on the face of the earth here. When you have an environment like this, an engineered environment of risk, which is pushing cash deliberately into the stock market, therefore inflating a bubble, what would you be doing? What should you be looking at? Should you be taking advantage of that? Absolutely. That's what I do. I'm in this market every day. You all know that. But that also means you need to be looking at suppressed assets or risk off, because risk on will become risk off at one point. This is where the opportunities are, people. Risk off assets are on sale. Okay, I covered with you recently in a whole bunch of videos. The Dow, someone's at my door. Maybe it's the Federal Reserve. The Dow gold ratio, the gold silver ratio. I explained to you how you can gauge that these things are on sale right now. Why? Because we are in a massive hyperbubble risk on environment. You understand? The artificially suppressing of rates, interest rates, is a deliberate mechanism to inflate bubbles, stock market bubbles, housing bubbles, cause malinvestment across the spectrum of asset classes. And these malinvestments will correct at one point on an epic scale. And I think most of you get that. But there are some here that think, oh, Greg is changing his mind. Duh. I mean, you can't be more retarded. It's impossible. Because, again, I've explained this all to you since time immemorial. Bet against the debt. Become your own central bank. Take advantage of the current situation. That's what you need to do. I am, again, not changing a darn thing. I am the most steady player in this market that you will ever find. Ever. Okay, I look at things from multiple perspectives, and I outline this all for you, at least those of you with a functioning brain, who can understand what's going on here. I'm not switching my position, changing my position. I will never change until this whole thing comes down. And when it does, all I'm telling you is this is not by accident. Do you believe that the Federal Reserve is not aware that they have created massive distortions in this market by suppressing rates for now over an entire decade? I mean, you got to be kidding me. In 2008, and I'm the first guy who said this, okay? I don't care who else is saying it, but I'm the first guy that said that was the party over moment for this market. The market has been on life support ever since. Anyone else that's saying that on YouTube or anywhere else is on my coattails. I'm the guy who started all that, just so you know. And this market is still on life support. We have no economic recovery whatsoever, and I want to talk more about that. Anyway, let's talk about this market before I get there. So we had a market today, finished flat, didn't do too much. Dollar, knee-jerk higher. There's a little fear there. 10-year yield stable but slightly lower. I explained this to you. Okay, this market has gotten way ahead of itself. Should we get a correction? Yeah, we don't get corrections anymore. We haven't had a normal 10, 15, even 20%, which would be a normal correction, in a very, very long time. The market continues to march higher on more bad economic news, and I outlined some of that this morning. We have not had any good economic news in years. It's all lies. It's all smoke and mirrors. We are in an economic collapse, full-on economic collapse. Let's talk about that. So this is some of the news that we got today on the economic front, and I want to outline some of this because it's very, very sad. I've explained to you, all of you, since, I don't know, forever now, that the middle class is under attack, that if you are a member of the middle class, you have a target on your face, it's tattooed. It's very difficult to get off. You understand? This is what's happening here. As the cost of living is skyrocketing, as the Federal Reserve is downplaying inflation. See, the Fed cannot allow you to understand that they're responsible for this, that they're the one running the inflation machine. They're the one killing the dollar, okay? The Dixie still remains below 90, going much lower, okay? They can't allow you to know that. So they have to, come up with all kinds of stories, and they're already doing it. They're blaming the high cost of energy for rising inflation. Something I said would happen months and months and months ago. Well, it's in your face right now. Okay. So today, with regard to, the vanishing middle class here, so here's where we are. Household debt right now is at an all-time record high, and it's surging. Personal debt, people are borrowing just to make ends meet. Okay, all-time record high. And let's go over this. Again, this is some of the news we get. So 40% of American households today have a collective income of less than $50,000 a year. And that, again, this number is going to get a lot worse. I told you, prior members of the middle class are falling through the cracks. They're borrowing beyond their eyeballs just to try to stay in the middle class, and all that's doing is making them a slave. You understand? They got to find out another way, and I've been trying to outline and help you with this for a very, very long time. Now, so 40% of households collectively have an income of less than $50,000. Overall, nearly 70% of households are making less than six figures. Okay. Only 10% of households in the United States have an income greater than $200,000. $200,000 is pretty nice, but you're not rich or anything with a $200,000 income, especially if you're living like a regular American citizen, borrowing beyond your eyeballs. It's a sinister thing, but this is what's happening, people. It's so out of control. It's out of absolute control. What can I tell you? Anyway, that's where we stand right now. And these numbers that I've just outlined for you, forget about it, people. The situation is dire for people here in the United States and around the world. Again, we are in the middle of something I said would happen over a decade ago. The creation of a two-tier society. Extreme haves, extreme have-nots. And the middle class is literally vanishing, going away before our eyeballs, okay? People right now are borrowing just to make ends meet beyond their wildest dreams, and they're digging a hole for themselves they can't possibly get out of in this environment. And it's all done by design. Again, America, the largest debtor nation in the history of the world. We've never seen anything like it. A central bank that continues to issue more and more debt every second of every single day, 365 days a year. This has been their grand plan since their creation, to one day, and you know what I'm about to say, become the lender and buyer of last resort. That's who the Federal Reserve is right now today. But no, you focus on cryptocurrency. You see, look what they're doing. Look at the news here. None of this is about the Federal Reserve. None of it is about what the Fed is doing. It's all about, look here. Don't look over here. Oh, it's crypto's fault. Oh, it's energy's fault. Oh, it's this fault. No, it's the central bank. And we have our pathetic, vomitous, disgusting, good-for-nothing, low-life, representatives. We don't have representatives. Okay, they're not even the real government. The Federal Reserve is the world government, not just the government here of the United States. The dollar is the world reserve currency, people, and it's issued by the Federal Reserve. They call the shots. They dictate the rules. You know that. And again, going back to this market, we are in a hyper bubble in the stock market, a hyper bubble in housing. We have inverse bubbles as well. Gold and silver are in inverse bubbles. Distortions like you cannot believe. All of this will correct to fair value when? Who knows and who really cares? Just keep yourself on the right side of this. And this blog is all about keeping you on the right side of this. Something I've done for years. If you've been following my work, you've been following me, my suggestions, you could not possibly have done any better. And if you're new here, it's not too late. You just got to get with the program. You got to get with the program fast. But understand that what we're seeing now is not sustainable, and it will continue until it doesn't. And I don't even waste one brain cell thinking about when this thing is going to end. All I am prepared to do is get all of you on the right side of this, so you're ready for it. Again, the smart money is taking advantage of everything. The rising stock market and looking at suppressed assets or risk off, because risk off will become risk on at one point. Risk on will become risk off at one point. You got it? It's a never-ending mechanism. It flips back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. That's just the way it works. By keeping yourself on the right side of these things, that's how you win, and you win big. Otherwise, you get destroyed, like the vanishing middle class. It's a terrible thing to see, but something I knew would happen and have warned about for over an entire decade. People, this guy right here loves you a lot. Please share the video. Get it out there.